Good morning and welcome back to Aspheric News. My regular guest today with me in the studio is Alhaji Mustafa Abdullahi. Alhaji, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Myself, my name remains Israeli Beleme. This morning we're bringing you news updates from different national newspapers, headlines. And for those of you that are joining us for the first time, please do not forget to follow us on our social media handle for you to get more notification when we are live, especially on Facebook. We are regular on Facebook on official Aspheric News on Facebook. Please do not forget to join us on Facebook page, our Facebook page. Then on Instagram, we're on Aspheric News. On Instagram, we're on Aspheric News. We're on Twitter, Aspheric News. On our YouTube channel, is Aspheric TV, directly displayed on the screen. You're watching me right now. So please kindly click and also subscribe on our YouTube page. This morning, we'll be discussing some of our national newspaper headlines and the issues that are bothering the nations, and especially ranging from insecurity, problem of the country, economy, politics, and more stories that interest you this morning. Please, I want you to sit back and relax and also hear some of these conversations within me and my analyst Abdullahi this morning. Let me also ask you for the first questions. ShopRite have shut down.
Yeah.
Other malls are beginning gradually. What do you see? Like, because UK is insisting that directorial alert, terror alert in Abuja. So, is it political or is normal? Because of security check, they want to clamp down a number of people, So,
well,
do you foresee even churches to shut down?
Well, I don't think it will come to that level because if you observe very well, it's not something like anytime that they issue an alert is like a wake-up call on the authorities, all the security architectures to make sure that they put their house in order. And so far, from the stories we are hearing, they are trying to preempt that attack from taking place, and that is exactly what the security agencies are doing. For instance, just yesterday we read it on the national dailies whereby the American Security Marines and the DSS, they now raided an estate, and I believe that so many other clandestine operations are going on and we are not seeing it. You talk about whether it's political or something like that. I don't think it's political because starting from the US, the threat alert that they issued, they didn't issue it only in Nigeria here. It was a day after they issued in South Africa, that's a setting in Johannesburg and southern in South Africa, that an attack is likely to take place. And they issued it the same thing to us here. So it's not left for us now to do what is needful to preempt it. Well, this time around, it's not only US and UK. Even Denmark, Ireland, and one other country, they have followed the same track to issue that same threat alert to their citizens to say, okay, they should avoid gathering and avoid going to certain places, especially in Abuja. Well, if malls and major departmental stores are closing down, I believe that they are trying to do what is right to preempt the likely attack. For instance, if ShopRite, Jabi Lake Mall decide to close down, these are the major departmental stores that corporate people and including ordinary people patronize. If they decide to close down, they are trying to do what is right to save lives. Well, coming to the aspect of churches, well, recall that in the days of Boko Haram attack, both in the Abuja town, you now discover that there are certain measures that even churches put in place to safeguard the worshippers. I believe that they need to revisit that same measures again. For instance, whoever is coming to attend a church service, it should pass through scanning process. If you pass through that scanning process, I know quite okay that it's cumbersome and it's telling on the worshippers, because somebody that's supposed to come to the church and walk into the church and just go in and worship, this time around, they have to like pass through queue to like being screened before they can enter and exit the church. So it's something we're in a at a time whereby nobody can predict what will happen. But I didn't see it right is the manner that the embassies here decided to issue that threat, because it should be something that I believe that they should rather do it in such a way that interface with the security agencies and brief them instead of making it a public issue. Because if you see it very well now, there is a kind of panicking situation now. Even in Abuja, you could see security agencies here and there. Although making it public, at least it will make everybody sit on his toes and do what is right. But it's our economy is somehow fragile. A situation whereby you now decide to restrict certain things, it will affect a lot of way of life.
All right, next to discuss this morning will be on the Vanguard newspaper. That actually on the one of the major headlines this morning. UK insists on terror alert as major malls shut operation. That's actually what we are discussing about insecurity in Abuja. But I also believe that the government is also putting more measures to climb, because I saw some soldiers, some security operative harassing some youths within what's it called, ECOWAS area and all of that. So they're trying to climb down,
well,
because
you see, Dr. Israel, you observe, this is supposed to be like a electioneering campaign period. You understand? So, and if I tell you that Nigerians were somehow stubborn, because this the terror alert is something that has to do with you and I and other people, all Nigerians. You understand? But do we really need security agencies to go after us to say, okay, please don't avoid gathering before people will know that their lives are at stake? We should do the needful and say, okay, avoid gathering, avoid any, because this terrorists. What is the terrorism itself? Terrorism itself is to cause maximum havoc, whereby they will use it for their propaganda sake, and that is exactly what they are trying to do. When they inflict that pain in people, on Nigerians, you now discover that they have achieved their aim. We shouldn't give them that room for them to achieve their aim. Whoever is coming out to say, okay, you are going to do any rally or any gathering, you should think twice before you do that.
Right, so still on the Vanguard newspaper, we have almost account for 300 billion contract awarded without due process. Omana, that is out to the come from MDDC. You recall that NDDC Minister of Nigeria Delta was in Port Harcourt. Was he there before FCT? I think that actually when this issue was resurrected, that the previous administrator they were awarded 300 billion contract without due process.
Well, you see, right from inception of Niger Delta Ministry, NDDC, I don't really know the manner of. If we're talking about corruption, some certain corruption, you now discover that the certain corruption, the way public offices in certain places go about this corruption is something that it's disturbing. NDDC came into light because of the problem in Niger Delta, problem of marginalization in Niger Delta, inequality in Niger Delta, poverty in Niger Delta, where the oil is coming from. At least NDDC is supposed to stop a kind of an intervention agency whereby to provide us succor. But you now discover that several times it has become a problematic. From one administration to another administration is somehow problematic. Up to now, I don't think they even have a body in place. Although it's just last week that the President Badina eased the interim management out, and then they are talking about constituting a new management team. But by and large, you now discover that instead of becoming an intervening agency to take care of lives and of Niger Delta people and create that kind of growth and development, instead of that one, you now discover that the agency has been marred with issue of corruption, abandoned project, giving contract without due process. You understand? So, but another way around, Dr. Israel, perhaps there is a missing link between Ministry of Niger Delta and the NDDC itself, because I don't think that such magnitude of contract can be given out without due process. I don't think so. What is the due process here? Probably passing through the tender board, making it, announcing the contract before the media, the press, so that people will now apply and send their proposal and pass through the tenders board. That is how it's supposed to be. But in a situation whereby it now becomes something of it's not done publicly, whereby the companies that are being awarded the contract, some of them it could even be linked to the people within the management team, and that is not what the kind of public sector that we want.
All right, so still on also in the Vanguard newspaper, I have to read out some of these headline stories. Nigeria can't keep borrowing to fund agencies without duplicated functions. That is,
well, I think
like your agency is responsible for human capacity and manufacturing.
Yes, you understand. So it's really, but who do we blame in this case? Although we have been talking about, I think before Goodluck Jonathan left office, there was this Orasanye commission, Orasanye committee, whereby they want to like merge some ministries, and the one that has to do with similar function, they just like try to like phase them out. They have some Steve Orasanye submitted the report, and it's before President Muhammadu Buhari. Even recently, they talk about it. You know, if you look at it very well, the most one of the countries in the world that they said the cost of governance is so outrageous and too bogus, they mentioned Nigeria, and it's because of certain issues like this particular one. You now discover that instead of, take for instance, like Minister of Transport to handle certain aspect of the project, they now decide to shift it to Minister of Works, and then you now discover that it's now overlap. When it's overlapped to the extent of affecting even the funding itself. That is the case here. So, and if you decide to like Nigeria is somehow problematic to itself. It impedes the growth that we are clamoring for. A situation whereby a particular ministry that are supposed, okay, take for instance like a Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. We have Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. We have a minister. We have the other one, is in NEMA or something like that. That one is there. This is duplication of functions, and when they are making budgetary allocation, they still go ahead and make budgetary allocation to both of them, which is not the best way to go about it. We are talking about a time that Nigeria is borrowing to fund both as a recurrent expenditure and capital project, and we create that template whereby it continues to consume our revenue. That is the situation.
Still on the Vanguard newspaper, flood hindered petrol distribution in Abuja as vessel discharge in Lagos. So we are hoping that we'll get more
better by next week at least. Let's see.
Trap foreign airline fund raised 51% to 700 million. Warri refinery will deliver for first quarter of 2023. I think there was a time they said but there was a time there was a news that Kano, Port Harcourt to be refined, they're supposed to do maintenance for them to begin to refine crude.
Well,
I actually do not know the quantity they are producing now. I don't know if they are functioning.
I think just recently, though some of those things are now unverified information that NNPC maintained those refinery for good 6 months, and they were not producing, and they are spending billions on them. So these are part of the wastage that we're talking about. Although President Buhari yesterday he was in Seoul in South Korea, whereby they signed an MOU between Kaduna Refinery and the U Group. So I believe that by the time some of these refineries come on board, this issue of subsidy that we're talking about, it will eventually be phased out naturally. You understand? So, but we should see a situation whereby it will go beyond a rhetoric statement to reality. That is where what we are clamoring for. That is what we are praying for. Nigeria, we should just move to the situation whereby the 4 refineries or all the refineries that we have are producing. When they are producing, the issue of paying subsidy, it will arise.
All right, so next to discuss now will be on the Daily Sun newspaper. In Daily Sun newspaper, we have Ekweremadu concerning Nigerians asks UK to release ex-deputy president wife from custody. We also have anxiety hinted as Ume Ayode Ibazu meet with Wike. Why meet with Wike? Abuja, UK issued stay off alert to nationals. FCT tighten security. Security operative to short malls. I do have one of them. Universities bound spaghetti gowns, nose ring, tattoo, and others. Let's just look at it. Let's just discuss more on the new regulation in the university. Would that be maintained? Because most already have tattoo, so there's some tattoo they can't really remove like that. So how would that be possible? Some of them are artists.
To me, it's more like UST, that is River State University of Science and Technology. They are the one that came up with this regulation. Well, the fact is that UST is an institution, and every institution, especially a tertiary institution, you are not only going there to like acquire that knowledge. That knowledge classroom knowledge is far beyond that classroom knowledge. There are some other aspects of the knowledge whereby they are informal in the sense that how you dress and how you look within the campus is something of concern to even your fellow student and the school authority itself. But in this case, you now see a university in River State. First and foremost, you have to look at the environment itself. How is the environment like? How are the people within the inhabitants of the state dressing like? So this is first question that we need to ask ourselves. If it's a university to say, okay, somewhere university in Katsina that decide to issue this, you now understand that, look, this is a conservative setting whereby they are trying to like try to like mold the characters to conform with the society. But a situation whereby this is in Rivers, and the university is saying that, look, if you have nose ring, if you have a tattoo, if you have a leg chain, they are not going to condone that. To me, it's more or less like infringing on the human right of the student. I believe that it's going to be an interesting case when the university authority, when certain students decide to approach the court to say, okay, for the interpretation regarding their fundamental human right as a student of the university. It's difficult to comply with, because it's someone that decides to tell you that, okay, this tattoo that I'm carrying, the tattoo has to do with my tradition. What are you going to do about it? You understand? Or someone decides to say, okay, I'm a traditionalist and this tattoo that I'm carrying is part of my tradition. What will you do about it? Or if someone decides to say, okay, having leg chain is part of my belief in fashion. So what will you do about it? So these are certain areas that it's going to be problematic. The enforcement is going to be difficult. The enforcement, it has to be difficult because a lot of it will create problem instead of achieving the aim that they intend to achieve. I see days to come, probably the student will decide to say they are going to protest, and you know, any protest now eventually will lead to something else. That is what we are trying to like avoid.
Well, I see on the Sun newspaper, I think we have UFCT team up with INEC to end vote buying. That's interesting.
It's very
actually good news.
I think I saw something like that in is it the Ekiti and the Osun election?
Yeah, where they were arresting some.
Yes, okay. By the time they step it up, I pray they have enough manpower to like deploy them into the field during election to monitor how the conduct of the election, because I don't see the possibility of vote buying going out soon from our system.
Lagos donate 15 million to Bayelsa State as federal government hand over relief materials to Rivers.
This is commendable. We talked about it yesterday that federal government should intervene, and at least they are like heeding to the call from Nigerians to intervene in the lives of these suffering Nigerians. And again, apart from that, again, there is every state is entitled to ecological fund, whereby this ecological fund is meant for issues like this. Governors, they shouldn't wait until the people start dying due to this havoc that came. They should release the ecological fund, make sure that they resettle these people to at least a month or 2 months until this water now recede before they now go back to their various homes, and they still need to support them to rebuild their life, rebuild their houses, and construct more drainages here and there to at least mitigate the effect of flooding the next time.
And next to discuss this morning will also be on the Nation newspaper. So we're on the Nation newspaper. So we see how Sanwo-Olu proposed 1.69 trillion budget for continuity. That thing happened yesterday when he presented his bill,
yeah.
And some governors was also present in solidarity to support him to get that done. Okay, 1.5 Lekki deep sea port ready for test run.
This is one.
I think the federal government to be grateful for Rotimi Chibuike for having actualized it. After 12 years on
within the planning this thing without making it a reality. But Chibuike Rotimi made it a reality. And one thing is that Nigeria is going to deep sea is going to be a kind of revenue churning to the federal government for a very long time. So Rotimi Chibuike name will continue to ring bell as far as Nigeria is concerned, because you have the Lekki deep sea, you have the railway transformation, and so many and so forth, and even the dry ports here and there. A lot of dry ports have come on board. You have them you have it in Kaduna, you have it in Dala, you have it in several other places, other states. So Chibuike Amechi is one workaholic minister, and I think they gave him a commendation recently regarding his performance as a minister. Best of luck in life.
Yeah, but seeing that project, seeing that project is something that every Nigerian too, especially those who do business in Nigeria.
Apart from that, I see Mr. President himself as appreciating Chibuike Rotimi Amechi, because if you recall very well, whenever Buhari is talking about his achievement, he talk about infrastructural development. And if you are talking about infrastructural development, you are talking about legacy project that will stand the test of time, project that will last for decades to come. You take, for instance, the Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge line. You now discover that whoever lives around Lagos, they are so proud to say, okay, they have a city with that kind of modern standard gauge line. And you could see now that people could live in Ibadan and work in Lagos, and people could stay in Lagos and work in Ibadan. And you understand? So this is something that President Muhammadu Buhari is so proud about doing. And if we are talking about that achievement, you are talking about Rotimi Chibuike Amechi has been able to, within 4 years, came on board and do a lot of transformation project. And this is something that Nigerians are so proud about, to say, okay, we have this, and we have that, and we have this, and these are legacy projects that are traceable to Chibuike Rotimi Amechi as his achievement.
All right, so the next to also discuss will be on our Daily Trust newspaper. Daily Sport newspaper, we have Germany, Bulgaria, Iran, Denmark join US, UK in Nigerian terror alert. So other countries are beginning to join to evacuate their staff. But the Nigeria is doing everything possible to ensure that there is peace and harmony in the country. So that has been NNPC. Okay, we've done that already. So the next one we're going to do Tribune newspaper. Ume Ayode visits Wike. False speculation of alliance with APC. What is going on?
This is politics. All along, if you observe very well, Wike has kept almost everybody in suspense.
Nobody knows his mind.
Nobody knows his movement.
And because of the number of votes from the Rivers, which
Rivers is
at
so
least
important.
He might have maybe 40%.
Apart from the vote, Rivers is deep in when it comes to the treasury. You understand? Someone that has the governor of Rivers on his side, you could at least quite okay that when you are talking about donation, it's not going to be a problem. But far from that now, you now see that, like yesterday, INEC now issued the said, okay, Rivers is among the states with a very large concentration of voters. So these are the things that politicians, they have seen that they are going after Wike up and down. So, and as long as they continue to have problem with presidential candidate of PDP, you now discover that other oppositions will continue to go after him. And the man is so clever. He's so clever in the sense that he has not really come out to say, look, I am for APC, I'm for Tinubu, and for Peter Obi. He has not said anything regarding that. The only thing he has said that, look, he's not going to be part of the Atiku's campaign. He has said it categorically. And so far, you now discover that Atiku now decided to forge ahead with his own campaign, although he has not made any categorical statement regarding whether he's going to work with Wike or he accept what the decision of Wike. He has not made any statement regarding that. Yes, Wike is trying to make himself very relevant, and he's getting that attention that he has been craving for. Governor Ayade Governor Mehi, these are APC governors. They have gone to see him. Sanwo-Olu, him and Sanwo-Olu, if you look at it very well, they are like fraternizing him, including the former governor of John Fayemi, former governor of FCT. They're all together with him. So these are Tinubu's men, and they are like cutting him. So I don't really understand what is happening. Is it that Wike is trying to like work for APC? If he's going to work for APC, what about the APC in Rivers State? You understand? This is the dynamics that we like to put into consideration. We don't know how this is going to work out, but I believe that Wike himself should be very careful. Politically, he shouldn't make himself irrelevant. You understand? When the voices is so loud, you now have to think very well. If you ask me, I'll advise him to say, okay, stick to PDP. Whatever happened within the party, that is your party. He himself, he said it that, look, whatever the outcome of the presidential primaries, he is a party man, and he will take it and accept it and remain within PDP. Although he has said that he is still a member of PDP and is not going to leave PDP because he loves PDP, but what about cutting people from the opposition within the state? How is it going to look like? Say, okay, you are a PDP governor, you are a former presidential aspirant, and now APC governors are coming after you every now and then. How is it going to translate like? Is he going to look himself like a statesman? That is not how a statesman should behave.
All right, so next to discuss is we on Punch newspaper. In Punch newspaper, we have federal government open talks with investors on Lagos Coastal Rail. That's interesting. The former minister was also in talk with was it France or Turkey then before he left the office. Then we also have federal government detain 36 suspects. ISWAP, yes. Then fighters, tensions and Titan. So
it's still related to this
some security in Abuja. Lagos recruits 423 firemen, boosts firefighters capacity in Lagos State because there's fire accidents and fire incidents in area, and that's look at the manpower is really not.
I think Lagos is like setting the pace because Lagos is operating like a country within a country. It's if you decide to combine the internally generated revenue of almost 20 states, it's not up to what Lagos generates. So that is commendable. Other states too, they should take the lead. I believe that like Ogun State, if you look at it, Ogun State, you will now discover that Ogun, because due to the proximity to Lagos, they are taking advantage of that, and they have succeeded in deepening their revenue, internally generated revenue base. Other states too within that borders around Lagos, they should key in and tap into it. Then we'll come over to the north central here, whereby Abuja is here. You have Kogi State, which borders with FCT. At least Kogi is expected to like tap into the potentials in Abuja and make revenue out of it, but nothing is coming out like that. Rather, what we are seeing now is a situation whereby the state government decided to clamp down on the Dangote cement industry, and this is in the 21st century. This is not what we expect.
All right, thank you so much. Last to discuss this morning will be on the flood threatening 1.9 trillion CBN agric scheme loses mount. So why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because you understand. You know when you take like
people have opportunities to
now excuse now to say okay, you gave me loan and I farm rice and I have this plantation. It has been washed away by the flood.
Everybody knows from Bayelsa and Rivers.
From everybody. So you understand. They don't even you not discover even before now. CBN has been crying that some people took these anchor borrowers. They took it and they now eloped or escaped, and they are not reachable anymore. Some of them changed their numbers. These are part of the crookish situation that we find ourselves in Nigeria, that you now discover that it's difficult for us, it's difficult for the institutions, and it's difficult for us too. This loan is like a revolving scheme whereby when you take that loan, you return it back after the moratorium period elapsed. You return it back. When you return it back, they can give to Mr. B. And Mr. B too, when he return it back, they can give to Mr. F. If when the Mr. F do return it, that is how it continues to go. But you now discover that Nigerians are taking advantage of this. Though we're not trying to say that people are not affected due to the flood. The flood affects a lot of my massive investment in agriculture. But we are not going to see some other people now taking advantage of this. Even if they are not affected, they will say I was affected.
So, in case you're joining us for the first time, please do not forget, as I said earlier, to follow us on our social media handles. Social media handle is being displayed on the screen. Our Facebook is official Spheric News, and our Instagram is Spheric News. Our Twitter is Spheric News. Then our YouTube channel, please, our YouTube channel is Spheric TV. Please do not forget to follow us. Also subscribe. Also click on the notification button to get notification anytime we are live on our channel. Do not forget to read more on these breaking stories on www.sphericnews.com, and I repeat, www.sphericnews.com. In case you want to reach out to us, or you want to send us a WhatsApp message, or you want to call us, please do not forget to call our number displayed on the screen, +234 89 09 999 8117, +234 80999981.